Good evening and thank you for joining us here on KREM News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. I'm Whitney Ward. Mark is off tonight. Our top story at this hour, new details in the case against suspected murderer Brian Coburger. He is accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students in 2022. Now his attorneys are officially urging a judge to move his trial out of Latah County. Newly filed court documents show the defense is arguing that the intense media coverage and public interest made it impossible for Coburger to get a fair trial. Coburger's public defender, Ann Taylor, wrote in the motion, "The prolific media coverage in Latah County is not a mere passing story. There is no reasonable belief that media coverage will slow, regardless of how long the case takes to prepare for trial." The prosecution argues the case has received national attention, saying moving it out of the county would have no impact on media coverage or potential jurors' familiarity with the case. Both sides will argue their positions on August 29th. Also new tonight, Spokane police are asking for your help to find a man who is suspected of robbing a convenience store at gunpoint. It happened just after 4 this afternoon near North Central High School. The suspect ran when police arrived and managed to get away. But take a look at your screen right now. This is surveillance footage from the store. Police say the suspect is a white man. He was wearing a black sweatshirt and blue jeans. They also believe he may have robbed another convenience store last Thursday. So if you recognize him or have any information, you're asked to please call 911. This November, Spokane County voters will see 2 very similar options on the ballot. The city and the county are both asking for sales taxes, both for 1/10%. But the city would use the tax money for community safety, while the county hopes to fund the juvenile detention center and county jails. And in our effort to bring you more to every story, KREM 2's Shannon Mouty spoke with elected leaders about the tax measures and if voters are likely to support both of them.
Yeah, we wanted to know if these 2 taxes would prove too much for voters already dealing with inflation and after last year's failure of a measure to build a new jail. It was top of mind last week.
It's a little bit challenging for me to support this effort at this time because I know that there are a lot of people out there that are hurting financially.
When Spokane County's commissioners approved adding a sales tax renewal to November's ballot, it was a hard ask for some. A hard ask for the city of Spokane, too.
Prepare to vote.
Because it's also asking voters to approve a 1/10% sales tax on the same ballot.
There should have been better coordination with the county. And in fairness, the county should have coordinated with us better last year when they were running their jail measure. Not a lot of collaboration there right now, unfortunately. But it could be something that drags both of them down.
Councilmember Jonathan Bingle believes the city's new tax will fail, in part because he says it's not clear enough what the money will be used for. The ballot will read, funding enhanced community safety and other public safety operations.
But what's been described to us as a major part of community safety, according to this council and this administration, is solar panels and bike lanes. And I just don't think that that's what, the people have in mind when they think community safety.
Councilmember Zach Zapone wouldn't gaze into the crystal ball of how the vote could go, but he says this is a better option than a more expensive property tax council voted down in May.
So if you spend $50,000 in a year on taxable goods, so not groceries or medications or other items, but $50,000, you'd be paying $50 in taxes.
He says voters have been vocal about wanting more public safety.
Without this levy passing, there will be reductions. So to do any reductions in the city, we would have to be making reductions in services for police and fire.
The county's tax would continue funding juvenile detention and jails. Last year, a measure to build a new jail using a 2/10 sales tax failed. Bingle estimates if the county revisits that ask next year and the city's tax is approved, it could take away some ability to fund a new jail.
If I'm the valley, why am I agreeing to 2/10 to give 60% of my 2/10 to the county, but the city of Spokane is giving 60% of 1/10 and then 15% of another 10th? I think it hurts our efforts with a jail region-wide.
Ultimately, voters will decide what they're willing to pay come November 5th. And a spokesperson for Mayor Lisa Brown's office said they do plan to sit down with county leadership to discuss their shared community safety goals, but they declined to comment until that conversation happens. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
New at 10 tonight, the Swawilla fire burning near Keller has now grown to more than 12,000 acres. That's according to the Washington Department of Natural Resources. The entire town of Keller is still under level 2 get set evacuations for this fire. According to officials, it is 0% contained tonight. Crews are doing prep work now in anticipation of a windier day tomorrow. Take a look at this map. Level 2 evacuations, as we said, those are still in place for the entire area shaded in yellow. It's also important to note that the Keller Ferry remains closed as crews continue to battle the flames. Officials say this fire was started by lightning last week. So on that note, we want to talk weather. It may not seem like a big difference, but it did feel noticeably cooler in town today as we stayed below triple digits. Meteorologist Cody Proctor is joining us now with more on what we can expect through the rest of the week.
Definitely a big change, Whitney. Today we topped out at a high of 88 degrees. Way below those triple digits that we have experienced throughout most of our weekend. And even right now, we're at 79 degrees over the Spokane airport. Winds are coming out of the south at 6 miles per hour tonight. Across much of our region, we're mostly seeing those temperatures into the 70s. Looks like, though, our weather monitor in Sandpoint's coming in the low 60s right now. A lot cooler than what we have been. Now, we are watching our fire danger, of course, especially with the Swawilla fire and with the Pioneer fire as well. A red flag warning goes into effect tomorrow for the Okanagan Valley. There's a fire weather watch for Thursday for much of our region. And we do have that air quality alert. This also does include the area impacted by the Swawilla fire right there. Try to limit your time outside while dealing with these conditions. The next 12 hours, we're looking to see clear skies. Temperatures early in the morning could be in the low 60s. And for the next 3 days, take a look at this. Tomorrow potentially could be in the low 90s. Thursday, Friday could see us down in the low 80s.
All right, Cody, thank you. Now to Night Beat with a quick look at the day's other top stories. We received new video from the Spokane Fire Department of a suspected arson at Squeak's Car Wash on Spokane South Hill. You can see here on your screen 2 people starting that fire on the side of the building. This was early Friday morning. Investigators say the car wash is connected to the Jiffy Lube and the Conoco gas station. In the next video, you can clearly see 2 suspects walking away, headed south on Regal. The fire department says the fire smoldered for several hours before being called in by passing drivers, and this is the damage that was left behind. The car wash is still closed, and investigators say it's just one of several fires intentionally set on Spokane South Hill this month alone, including the one at the Ace Hardware on the 4th of July and on the 11th of July. So if you have any information about any of these fires or those suspects, you're asked to call the arson tip line. We've got that number there at the bottom of your screen. The North Idaho State Fair unveiled a $280 million master plan to expand the fairgrounds, but they warned it's not possible without a long-term lease from Kootenai County commissioners. If that does happen, the first phase would unfold over the next decade. That includes fundraising and construction. The fair's general manager hopes to see all phases complete within 30 years. 4 days after the global computer outage that caused chaos around the world, including here in Spokane, Delta Airlines has now canceled 6,000 flights and counting, and the company is still struggling. Today, the Department of Transportation launched an investigation into the breakdown of Delta operations. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg emphasized just how big of an issue this is and the impact it's having on American travelers.
Part of why we are opening this investigation is the scale of the problem. Over 6,000 flights have been canceled since Friday. Hundreds of flights have been canceled today, and we estimate that more than 500,000 passengers have been impacted by this. So we're not taking this step lightly, but clearly there is something unique to Delta that requires specific attention. Our immediate focus, again, is to make sure that they take care of their passengers.
He also said they have received more than 3,000 complaints specific to Delta since last week's outage. That was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just go to our website, KREM.com. And that was also KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time.